Big story of the hour. A Hamas spokesperson has rejected key elements of the U.S. President Donald Trump's recently unveiled Gaza peace plan, stating that the movement cannot accept two critical provisions. According to the Hamas representative, the plan favors Israeli interests and overlooks Palestinian needs. Hamas opposes the disarmament of its armed forces and the deployment of foreign troops in Gaza, viewing the latter as a new form of occupation. The White House's comprehensive plan proposes temporary external administration of Gaza and the introduction of international stabilization forces. It explicitly excludes Hamas from returning to power in the territory and a point Israel supports. Talks in Doha involve Hamas, Qatar, Egypt and Turkey may lead to revisions of the U.S. proposals, though specific changes remain unclear. Meanwhile, the U.S. has given Hamas 2 to 3 days to respond to the plan. Joining me on the telecast is Peter Baum. He is the foreign editor, Weekly Blitz. He's joining me from London. Peter, thank you very much. And of course, what do you make of the Hamas representative who has come out and very strongly opposed the 20-point Gaza plan? He says that the plan is undermining the rights of the Palestinians and is in favor of Israeli government and Israeli forces.
Yeah, I don't think anyone should be surprised about the rejection by Hamas of the plan, albeit it seems that they would agree to 19 out of the 21 proposals. As we spoke about yesterday, rejection of the plan only serves the extremists on both sides. We saw yesterday how the extremists in the Netanyahu government were very negative about the plan, even condemning it. And now we see Hamas coming out and rejecting it too. But Hamas have no support. They are isolated, whereas the Israelis now and the plan itself has huge support. So here is where politics must come into play. This is where all the media, all those in favour of the plan, must get the Palestinian people who have been leaving Gaza City in droves on side with the plan. This is where all the UN agencies giving support to those people who have been forced out of Gaza City can get them on side, interviewing them and get them to reject Hamas. If that can be done, Hamas will be totally isolated. Now, if Hamas stick to this rejection, then Trump has suggested that he will allow Israel to finish the job, and that means to destroy Hamas militarily. And now that the vast majority of civilians have left the area of conflict, the only risky decision here is what Hamas will do with the hostages, and whether the Israeli public will continue to support the conflict within Gaza.
Right. Is there any possibility, talking about, two of these big, points of difference that Hamas has raised is, number one, disarmament of the Hamas operatives, and second of all, the Israeli troops that will continue to stay around Gaza. Those are the two big points of contention that have been raised by Hamas. And again, we have seen in the several months that have gone by, U.S. President Donald Trump has, issued threats, warnings, tried to coerce Hamas, but nothing has really come to fruition. So what are the chances? What is the big deal about the 20-point Gaza plan? It continues to be, the headlines all across the globe.
With one major exception, if I may. The fact is that Hamas now are totally isolated in the Arab world. All the Arab nations, and including other Muslim nations such as Pakistan and Indonesia, have come out in support of the Trump plan, as has the EU. It has got majority approval. The only rejectionists are the extremists on both sides. That's on the Israeli government, who potentially could bring down the Netanyahu administration if they leave the government, and Hamas themselves. But Hamas have no support. Now, the only thing that Hamas can cling on to, they're trying to cling on to their military influence, but that will be diluted furthermore if the conflict goes on. So the only thing they have left is political credibility. And it seems that at this moment in time, they don't have any support for the stance they're taking. Now, in terms of the two rejectionist part of the plans, hanging on to their arms, let's say, I don't think that will be accepted by the Israeli government nor by Trump. The idea of foreign troops being present, now that's something that could be negotiated, but it could be that those foreign troops, if they comprise of troops from Arab nations, that could be something that could be, I think, more easily negotiated. But the sticking point will still be whether Hamas want to retain their arms, and I don't think that would be, that's not palatable to the Israelis nor to the Americans.
Peter Baum, thank you very much for joining me on the telecast and sharing your views. Mourners gathered at Al-Aqsa Martyrs Hospital in Gaza's Deir al-Balah to bid farewell to the Palestinians that were killed in Israeli airstrikes on central Gaza. Earlier, Israeli warplanes conducted strikes in neighboring Al-Daraj in eastern Gaza City. The strikes killed several people and left many injured. The exact number of deaths remains uncertain and has not yet been made official. After the strikes, displaced Palestinians in Deir al-Balah stated that earlier Israeli Defense Forces had advised them to move to the area as safe, but it has now been bombarded. Previously, the Israeli military has also stated that it would close the last remaining route for residents from southern Gaza to access the north as it presses its offensive. Displaced Palestinians will be affected by the bloc. They have expressed their views on the Gaza peace plan and the continued military offensive.
جئنا هنا بعد التنكيل في مناطق بيت لاهيا والدمار الشامل الذي حصل في بيت لاهيا، وقد أبلغنا الجيش الاحتلال الإسرائيلي أن نتوجه إلى أماكن آمنة في هذه المناطق وتحديدا في دير البلح، ولكن للأسف الشديد تأبى آلة الحرب الإسرائيلية إلا أن تقصف أرواح بريئة جدا ليس لها علاقة لا من قريب ولا من بعيد في أي نوع من أنواع السلاح أو المقاومة. ولكن للأسف أنا أتحدث بكل وضوح أنه لا يوجد أي مكان آمن في قطاع غزة. خطة ترامب أو خطة أي كان فليوقفوا هذه الحرب المسعورة. نحن كشعب فلسطيني، نحن كأبناء قطاع غزة لا نتمنى إلا أن تقف هذه الحرب المسعورة لتوقف آلة القتل المسعورة على أبناء شعبنا الفلسطيني. هذا ما يتمناه جميع أبناء شعبنا الفلسطيني. هي